I grew up in New Jersey, in a home where religion was absent. We didn't pray before meals. We didn't go to church. My parents were good people, kind and intelligent, but they simply didn't believe in God. To them, faith was something ancient, something humanity had outgrown. So I grew up thinking the same. As a child, I remember looking at the sky and wondering, what's beyond that blue? But every time I asked, the answer was always scientific, never spiritual. It was fascinating, but it left me empty, because science could explain how the stars worked, but not why I was alive. When I entered college, I thought I had life all figured out. I studied literature and philosophy, proud to call myself an atheist. But slowly, something inside me began to shift. It started with my health. My body began to fail me. Unexplained fatigue, constant pain, anxiety that never left. Doctors ran tests and mentioned adrenal problems. I felt my energy slipping away, day after day. At night, I would lie awake in my dorm room, staring at the ceiling, thinking, what if this is it? What if my life ends before I've even begun? That's when the thought hit me. If my life can end at any second, what was the point of all this? Why was I even here? I began searching for answers, real answers. At first, I turned to philosophy, then to Christianity. I read the Bible, cover to cover. I was moved by the stories of mercy and forgiveness, but something felt incomplete. The idea of the Trinity confused me. I couldn't reconcile the logic of three gods in one. My heart wanted to believe, but my mind resisted. So I turned to Judaism. I admired its devotion, its rituals, its depth, but it felt closed, something inherited by birth, not a path open to all humanity. And I wasn't born Jewish. I felt like a stranger peeking through a window. And strangely, in all my searching, I never considered Islam. I thought it was foreign, distant, even mysterious. But the more I read about world religions, the more Islam kept showing up in the margins. One night, sitting in the university library, I came across a translation of the Qur'an, and that was the night my life changed forever. The opening words struck me deeply. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. It wasn't just poetry, it was peace. Every verse felt alive, speaking directly to the deepest corners of my heart. It didn't ask me to worship a man, or a nation, or a culture. It simply asked me to submit to the one who created me. For the first time in my life, belief made sense. Intellectually, spiritually, emotionally. The Qur'an spoke of a God who feeds the hungry, heals the sick, and guides those lost in darkness. A God who was both infinite and near, majestic and merciful. I realized that faith wasn't about belonging to a tribe. It was about belonging to Him. I remember whispering to myself, if this is true, then I've been looking in the wrong direction all along. But faith isn't born overnight. I wrestled with doubts. My friends didn't understand, some laughed, others said I was brainwashed. My family was confused. How could their daughter, raised without religion, suddenly believe in God? I couldn't explain it fully. All I knew was that Islam gave me peace, and peace to me was proof. After graduation, I moved to Egypt to teach English. I wanted to see Islam up close, not in theory, but in life. The streets of Chios were loud, alive, chaotic. Yet amidst the noise, I found something I had never felt before: stillness. Every time the call to prayer echoed from the minarets, the world seemed to pause. I'd watch men and women stop their work, turn toward the same direction, and bow in perfect humility, and I'd think, that's what it means to surrender. One evening, sitting alone in my small apartment in Cairo, I took a deep breath and whispered the words that would change my life. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammad an Rasulullah. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger. At that moment, something lifted from my chest. The pain, the confusion, the emptiness, it all dissolved. I cried like a child, not out of sadness, but relief, because I finally understood what it meant to be alive. I had found my Creator. Later, I met a kind Egyptian man named Omar, who would become my husband. He never pushed me toward Islam. He simply lived it, with patience, honesty, and love. Through him, I learned that faith isn't about perfection. It's about striving, every day, to do what's right, even when no one is watching. When I returned to America, I faced a new challenge. People looked at me differently because of my hijab. Some called me oppressed, others called me brave. But I wasn't trying to be either. I was just me, a woman who made a promise to God. And that's how I see Islam. Not as a label, not as a culture, but as a covenant, a private agreement between me and the one who created me. No priest, no institution, no hierarchy, just me and God. Many people ask, why Islam? Out of all the religions in the world, why this one? My answer is simple, because it's the only faith that never asked me to surrender my mind. It asked me to use it, to think, to reflect, to question, and to seek.
And when I did, I found him.
Today, I'm a writer, a mother, and a Muslim woman living in America. My life isn't perfect, and my faith is still a journey, but my heart is at peace. Every time I hear the Qur'an, I'm reminded of the night I first opened it and felt the presence of something far greater than myself. I used to think faith was a weakness, something people turned to when they were afraid. Now I know faith is strength. It's what carries you when the world turns its back on you. It's what gives meaning to pain, purpose to chaos, and hope to despair. And if my story teaches anything, it's this. No matter how far you've wandered, you are never too far for God to reach you. Because Islam didn't just give me a new religion, it gave me life.